Have you ever felt a strange, lingering sensation that you're being watched, even when you're alone? This unsettling feeling isn't just a figment of your imagination. It might be a sign that you are destined for something extraordinary. Don't just brush aside that feeling next time. It might be the call of destiny, asking you to step into your role in a larger story. Join me as we take a look at the actual reasons why chosen ones feel like they're being watched. Chapter 1. The Burden of Destiny. In the quiet corners of our lives, where thoughts dwell deepest, the feeling of being watched can creep upon us unexpectedly. For those who feel they have been chosen for a special destiny, this sensation is not just a fleeting shadow, but a persistent companion. Imagine for a moment that from a young age you are told you are meant for something great, something monumental. This notion, often rooted in cultural, religious, or familial beliefs, sets you apart from the crowd. It instills a sense of purpose, but also a hefty weight of expectation. The concept isn't new. It stretches back through the annals of history and is etched in the narratives of many societies. Plato's allegory of the cave, for example, illustrates this with profound clarity. In his allegory, a prisoner is freed from a cave and comes to understand that the shadows he once thought were reality are mere reflections of a higher truth. Upon returning to the cave to enlighten others, he is not welcomed but shunned. Plato uses this story to highlight the philosopher's burden in society, the destiny to see beyond the surface, and the isolation that often accompanies such insight. For those deemed to have a unique purpose, the sense of being watched can manifest in two distinct ways. Firstly, it can be interpreted as a literal observation by a higher power, guardians or unseen forces guiding them towards their fate. This is often comforting, suggesting a protective oversight and a confirmation that their path is preordained. Secondly, and perhaps more intriguingly, this feeling can stem from a heightened state of self-scrutiny. When you believe your actions have significant consequences, you are likely to examine them more closely. You become the watcher, constantly observing your own behavior to ensure alignment with the destiny you feel called to fulfill. Throughout history, many cultures have held beliefs in prophecies and destined heroes who are closely watched and guided by divine forces. In Norse mythology, the Norns goddesses of destiny would weave the fates of all beings, deciding the course of their lives from birth until death. Similarly, in many Native American traditions, vision quests are undertaken to gain insight into one's spiritual purpose, often accompanied by the sensation of being observed by ancestral spirits. However, the burden of destiny is dual-edged. On one side, it grants purpose and a clear path forward, marked by divine watchers or the personal drive of self-scrutiny. On the other, it casts a long shadow of isolation, expectation, and the constant sensation of being under an unforgiving lens. Chapter 2. The Paranoia of Significance. Feeling special can be a double-edged sword. For those identified as chosen ones, whether by community expectation, personal revelation, or a merging of both, this designation carries not just honor, but also a significant psychological burden. The feeling of being watched, particularly through the lens of having a unique destiny, can profoundly affect one's mental health and emotional well-being. When you're told your life has a special purpose, every action and decision can feel magnified. The spotlight effect, a term from social psychology, describes this sensation well. It is the belief that others are paying more attention to your actions than they really are. For the chosen ones, this spotlight isn't just imaginary, it feels very real and is often accompanied by actual scrutiny from those around them. Family, peers, and spiritual leaders all watching closely. With such scrutiny comes a sense of isolation. When you are marked as different, even for commendable reasons, the distinction can create barriers between you and others. Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist philosopher, explored the notion of being condemned to be free, where the individual must navigate the burdens of freedom and responsibility alone. For the chosen ones, this freedom is shaped by destiny, which paradoxically binds them to a path that can be lonely and fraught with high expectations. Imagine walking a path that you believe has been laid out just for you. Every choice seems imbued with significance, and every misstep feels like a cosmic failure. This pressure can lead to a persistent state of anxiety. Chosen ones may struggle with questions of free will versus destiny, constantly worrying whether they are fulfilling their roles correctly. The constant feeling of being observed can evolve into paranoia. This isn't just the worry over physical watchers, but a deeper concern about spiritual surveillance. Are the divine forces approving of their actions? Is the ancestral guidance still with them when they choose paths less trodden or seemingly mundane? This form of paranoia can be debilitating, making it challenging to make decisions or trust one's intuition. Historical and literary figures have often encapsulated this struggle. Joan of Arc, guided by divine voices to lead France during the 100 Years' War, might have felt a profound sense of destiny. Yet with this came immense scrutiny and eventual betrayal, leading to her tragic end. Her life illustrates the extreme consequences of being a chosen one, where divine destiny leads to both greatness and overwhelming challenges. In literature, Frodo Baggins from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings serves as a poignant example of the paranoia of significance. Frodo is chosen to destroy the One Ring, a task of monumental importance. Throughout his journey he is plagued by the burden of his task and the ever-watchful eye of Sauron, enhancing his isolation and paranoia. To manage these psychological effects, chosen ones often develop coping mechanisms. Some may seek reaffirmation from their community or texts, reinforcing their faith in the path laid out for them. Others might turn to meditation or spiritual practices to manage anxiety and regain a sense of control over their choices. Engaging in regular dialogues with mentors or peers who share or understand their unique path can also provide relief and a sense of shared destiny. Chapter 3. Divine Guidance. For those who carry the mantle of a chosen one, the concept of divine guidance is central, not only as a source of comfort, but also as a navigational tool in fulfilling their destiny. Divine guidance refers to the direction and insight believed to be provided by a higher power. This guidance can manifest in various forms, as intuitive feelings, dreams, signs, or through intermediaries such as prophets, angels, or spiritual mentors. The nature and interpretation of these manifestations greatly influence how chosen ones perceive their path and the decisions they make. Faith plays a pivotal role in interpreting and accepting divine guidance. It is the lens through which signs are seen and understood. Faith shapes the context in which certain events are perceived as divine rather than coincidental, imbuing everyday occurrences with profound significance. This connection between faith and divine guidance is evident in numerous spiritual texts and traditions. For example, in the biblical narrative, Moses receives direct instructions from God through the burning bush. This dramatic event is a clear and undeniable sign of divine intervention. However, not all guidance is as direct. In Hindu philosophy, guidance often comes through meditation and the subtle interpretation of inner experiences, aligning with the belief in an inner divinity. Chosen ones often report experiencing specific signs or symbols that they interpret as messages from the divine. These could be recurring numbers, patterns in nature, or unexpected encounters. Understanding these signs often requires a deep knowledge of one's spiritual tradition, as well as an attuned sense of personal spirituality. For instance, in various Native American cultures, an animal appearing repeatedly in unusual ways might be considered a spirit guide. Interpreting these signs correctly requires not only personal intuition, but also cultural knowledge and spiritual wisdom. Interpreting divine guidance correctly is crucial for those who feel chosen. Misinterpretation can lead to confusion, misguided actions, or doubt about one's path. The challenge lies in distinguishing between true divine messages and one's own desires or fears, projecting onto their circumstances. Philosophers like Soren Kierkegaard have explored the anxiety that comes with the ambiguity of divine signs. Kierkegaard suggests that this ambiguity is intrinsic to faith itself. It is through struggling with uncertainty that one's faith is tested and strengthened. Ultimately, divine guidance is about transformation. It is meant to steer the chosen ones toward growth, fulfilling their potential and performing their destined roles. This transformation is often evident in the profound personal changes they undergo, which can be both empowering and challenging. Chapter 4. Spiritual Tests. For chosen ones, life's journey often includes numerous spiritual tests. These challenges are not just hurdles to overcome, but are seen as essential components of personal and spiritual development, shaping them to fulfill their destiny. Spiritual tests are thought to serve multiple purposes. They refine character, strengthen faith, and ensure readiness for the responsibilities that come with a special destiny. These trials are often perceived as deliberate challenges set by divine forces to prepare chosen ones for their roles in the world. Throughout religious texts and mythologies, spiritual tests are a common theme. In the Bible, Abraham's faith is tested through God's command to sacrifice his son Isaac, who is ultimately spared. This was a test that strengthened his trust in divine will and secured his legacy as the father of nations. Similarly, in Greek mythology, the story of Hercules, also known as Heracles, is rich with spiritual tests that define his path. Born to Zeus and Alcmena, Hercules was subject to the wrath of Hera, Zeus's wife, who was furious about her husband's infidelity. From his birth, Hercules faced enormous challenges placed upon him partly by divine will and partly by the vengeance of Hera. One of the most significant series of spiritual tests Hercules faced was the 12 labors. These were not merely physical tasks, but were imbued with profound spiritual significance, each designed to test his resilience, wisdom, and purity of spirit. These labors were penance for a crime instigated by Hera herself. In a fit of madness inflicted by her, Hercules tragically killed his own children. The realization of this act filled Hercules with deep sorrow and led him on a quest for redemption. The first of these labors was to slay the Nemean lion, a beast no weapons could wound. Hercules' success using his own strength and ingenuity to strangle the lion symbolized his ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, and his emergence from the brute application of force to the application of intellect and courage. Another notable labor was the cleaning of the Augean stables, which had not been cleaned in over 30 years and housed thousands of cattle. Instead of tackling this enormous task by hand, Hercules redirected 2 rivers to wash out the filth. This labor highlighted his ability to think strategically and use his environment to his advantage, indicating his growth in wisdom and understanding. Each task, from capturing the golden hind of Artemis to obtaining the girdle of the Amazon queen Hippolyta, tested different aspects of Hercules' character. Through these labors, Hercules was not just performing feats of strength, he was undergoing a profound internal journey, facing and overcoming his personal demons and reconciling his divine nature with his human frailties. Spiritual tests often demand deep introspection and self-evaluation. Chosen ones are compelled to look within themselves, examining their motives, desires, and commitment to their path. This introspective process is crucial as it leads to significant personal transformation. Keep in mind, not all tests are passed the first time. Dealing with failures or perceived failures is an essential part of the spiritual journey. These moments provide critical lessons in humility, resilience, and the limits of one's understanding or abilities. Recovering from such setbacks, re-evaluating one's approach, and continuing to strive forward are seen as demonstrations of enduring faith and commitment. Chapter 5. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is a pivotal aspect of the spiritual journey, especially for those identified as chosen ones. Self-awareness in the spiritual context refers to a deep understanding of one's thoughts, emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and the overarching purpose of one's life. It involves recognizing the influence of one's actions not only on oneself, but also on the wider community, and aligning these actions with the greater destiny that one is believed to fulfill. For chosen ones, self-awareness often begins with moments of profound reflection, looking into the mirror of their soul. This process can be spurred by spiritual tests, as previously discussed, or through meditation, prayer, and other introspective practices. These practices help to clear the noise of daily life, allowing individuals to connect with their deeper selves and the divine guidance that directs their paths. Understanding one's personal history is crucial for developing self-awareness. Chosen ones often revisit their past experiences, both positive and negative, to glean lessons and insights. This retrospective understanding helps them see patterns in their life's journey that may indicate areas of personal growth, recurring challenges, or divine intervention. With increased self-awareness, chosen ones can make more informed decisions that resonate with their spiritual and worldly missions. This clarity often leads to actions that are more deliberate and aligned with their perceived destiny. For example, a leader who understands their propensity for impatience might take steps to cultivate patience, knowing that this trait is essential for their role in guiding others. Part of self-awareness is emotional intelligence, which involves recognizing one's own emotions and those of others. For chosen ones, emotional intelligence can enhance their ability to empathize with followers, anticipate community needs, and respond to conflicts or challenges in ways that foster harmony and understanding. Despite its benefits, achieving self-awareness is not without challenges. It requires constant effort and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths about oneself. Additionally, the chosen may face misunderstandings or resistance from those who interpret their quest for self-knowledge as self-absorption or withdrawal from communal duties. Tools that can aid in enhancing self-awareness include journaling, spiritual mentoring, retreats designed for reflection, and the study of sacred texts. These tools help individuals chart their spiritual growth, understand their evolving roles, and remain aligned with their divine purpose. Chapter 6. The Chosen One as a Mirror. Chosen ones often stand as embodiments of what a community aspires to become. Their actions, challenges, and triumphs are seen not just as personal experiences, but as collective milestones. In this way, they mirror the highest virtues their community values: courage, faith, compassion, and resilience. For example, a chosen leader might champion causes like justice or charity, which resonate deeply with their community's aspirations. As mirrors, chosen ones also reflect back to the community its flaws and areas needing improvement. This role can be challenging, as it involves highlighting uncomfortable truths that may be necessary for collective growth. By addressing these issues openly, chosen ones help initiate important dialogues that can lead to societal change and spiritual renewal. However, this mirror-like role can foster resentment among some members of the community. When chosen ones expose societal shortcomings or advocate for change, they may inadvertently cast light on individual and collective failings. This can be unsettling, as it forces people to confront aspects of themselves or their society that they would rather ignore. For instance, if a chosen one speaks out against corruption, those benefiting from the status quo might view them as threats, resulting in hostility. Moreover, the burden of being a reflection of both the best and the worst traits of a community can place chosen ones in a precarious position. Their elevated status, combined with their role as catalysts for change, often isolates them from those they aim to help. As a result, they can become targets of envy and criticism. People may perceive their actions as judgments against their own character or efforts, leading to feelings of inadequacy or defensiveness. This in turn can translate into a deep-seated animosity towards the chosen ones, undermining the very mission they strive to accomplish. Carrying the mirror for others can be a heavy burden. Chosen ones must balance their personal growth with the expectations and needs of their community. This balancing act requires a high degree of self-awareness and emotional intelligence, as previously discussed, allowing them to navigate their roles effectively without becoming overwhelmed. Transparency in actions and intentions helps maintain the trust between the chosen ones and others. By being open about their challenges, doubts, and successes, chosen ones foster a culture of honesty and openness. This transparency not only strengthens their leadership, but also encourages similar openness among community members, promoting a healthier, more engaged spiritual environment. Chapter 7. Embracing the Watchful Eye. Now we delve into one of the most important aspects, the transformative power of embracing the watchful eye, the constant sense of observation experienced by chosen ones as a catalyst for personal growth and empowerment. For many chosen ones, the journey begins with a subtle awareness, a feeling that they are being watched, not with judgment or scrutiny, but with guidance and support. This realization often marks the beginning of a profound transformation as they come to understand that the watchful eye is not a burden to bear, but a beacon lighting their path. Consider the parable of the gardener who tends to a beautiful garden under the watchful eye of the master. At first, the gardener feels the weight of constant observation, fearing each mistake will be met with harsh judgment. Yet, as time passes, the gardener comes to see the watchful eye not as a threat but as a source of wisdom and encouragement. With each season, the garden flourishes, guided by the master's gentle gaze. Embracing the watchful eye requires a profound shift in perspective, a willingness to accept that one is being guided by forces beyond their understanding. It is an acknowledgement that, while the path may be challenging, each step is guided by divine wisdom and purpose. The origin of the watchful eye concept, as explored in various cultures and philosophical systems, can be traced back to ancient times, embodying the notion of divine oversight and providence. This idea pervades many mythologies and religious teachings wherein the gods or cosmic forces observe and guide the fate of humans. For instance, in ancient Egyptian culture, the Eye of Horus was a symbol of protection and royal power, watching over the pharaoh and the people, providing wisdom and health. In Greek mythology, the Moirai or Fates were often depicted as overseers of man's destiny, weaving the thread of life from birth to death, watching and directing the outcomes of human endeavors with an impartial gaze that ensured the balance of the cosmos. This notion of a benevolent but firm oversight was intended to instill a sense of order and morality among people, encouraging them to adhere to the paths laid out for them by the divine. Similarly, in monotheistic traditions, the idea of an all-seeing God serves as a moral compass for the faithful, with the divine watchful eye acting as both a guardian and a judge. This concept reinforces the belief in an omnipresent deity who monitors and evaluates the actions of individuals, guiding them towards spiritual growth and righteousness. Through the watchful eye, chosen ones embark on a journey of self-discovery, a process of unraveling layers of ego and illusion to reveal the true essence of their being. This journey is not without its trials, as they confront fears, doubts, and uncertainties along the way. Yet, with each obstacle overcome, they grow stronger, more resilient, and more attuned to the guiding hand that leads them forward. Central to embracing the watchful eye is the power of surrender, the willingness to release control and trust in the unfolding of divine providence. It is a surrender not to fate or destiny, but to the inherent wisdom of the universe, which knows the way even when we do not. As chosen ones embrace the watchful eye, they experience a profound liberation, a freedom to be authentically themselves without fear of judgment or reprisal. They understand that true greatness lies not in conformity or perfection, but in the courage to embrace one's unique gifts and talents, allowing them to shine forth in all their brilliance. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.